Ladies and gentlemen,
Boys and girls.
welcome back to another episode of Just a Podcast. I am back with the amazing Dylan,
Amazing.
folks.
That's nice of
Just
you.
as always, we're just gonna hop right into it.
All right. Hopping in.
Yeah,
Much
we're
much
hopping
like
in.
much like an antelope
Mm-hmm.
hops into a Grand Canyon.
Yep.
Is that where you see them at usually? I don't think antelopes are common in the Grand
Yeah.
Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? How you been? How you been, man?
I've been doing absolutely fantastic.
It's good.
That's
Good.
good.
Got Pac-Man still up there on the board.
Yes.
He's still as hungry as ever.
Mm-hmm. Looks more of a Chompy's bagel than an actual Pac-Man.
You know,
In
why
a
not?
lot of ways.
Why not a crossover? He's the son of both of them.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's a mutation. He's like, what am I? He's trying to discover, I don't know, what made him the way he is. God, is that you? Hello?
Wow. That was.
The acoustics, it was like,
It
I
was
don't
trying
know.
to say something to us.
It's communication from beyond the beyond.
Telling
Perhaps.
us that the bagels are ready.
The bagels.
The bagels are ready.
That's just the microwave going off.
Yeah.
Ding. You don't cook bagels in the microwave. Why did I say that?
Ooh.
Yeah. I feel like that would just make it really soggy and gross.
Oh yeah.
You should try it and then tell us how it is.
Yeah,
Tell him how it is.
Someone in the audience let us know how that is.
Oh, that's right, because we were talking yesterday about High School Musical, and I was saying how I've never seen it before. Is it good? Are they good? Are they actually good, or is it just like nostalgia? Because I have a few of those Disney movies.
It's nostalgia, and as an adult, the object of desire for all the characters is done very, very well, and the need and the wants as well are done pretty well, because most high school films that you see, they don't really nail the want and the need and object of the desire. It can come off cheesy or
Yeah.
make the character look bad, like a cliche bully where they're
Exactly.
I'm
I
mad
think-
because I'm bad. It's, well, no, come on, get into that.
Exactly.
Why are you bad?
Exactly. Well, because I feel like writing for high school films can just be really cheesy or over the top or bad. And you also got to think in most instances, who's writing those? Not high school students.
Right.
Usually written by like 50-year-olds, like 40, 50-year-olds who don't know anything about it. I think like the biggest example I noticed of that was, did you ever see Freaky that came out last year?
Freaky.
Vince Vaughn swapping bodies with a teenage girl.
No.
There's some of the dialogue in that because it was written by the same guy who wrote Happy Death Day, I believe.
Okay.
And that felt fine because it was college as well. But literally the high school characters would just have like such quirky dialogue, and I'd just be like, are you? It's hello, I am fellow kid. Hi, welcome. I'm real kid, not 50-year-old executive. I promise. But I feel like that's really hard whenever you're trying to do anything that's high school related because, usually anybody that's going to be writing that isn't going to know anything about the high school experience, relatively within the past like 20 years.
Right.
So, I mean, it's good that that film was able to do that. I feel like a lot of Disney Channel original movies actually really nailed the high school element, and it never felt wrong.
Yeah.
Which I just think is like really weird. Like I like Catching Pete. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yes.
That
Catching Pete.
felt like a real high school. I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. It's so weird that it managed to do that. I think. What's probably your favorite Disney Channel original movie? Would you say that it was High School Musical?
Oh gosh, favorite. That's a big one, folks. That's.
You a Life is Rough guy, or you a Dad Napped guy?
This is tough.
It's like the 13th year, or is it the 15th year? It's the one where the kid turns into a mermaid or something.
Oh.
Yeah, the boy starts developing like scales on his body, and his parents are like, "Yep,
Yes.
here's the thing: we rescued you
Yes.
from the sea. Now you're turning into a fish, so we got to toss you back." And it's like, "What? Oh my God, no! Please, this is a horror film."
Yeah.
And in the end, he just gets transformed back into a merman and sent back to his mermaid mother. And I was just like, "What? What?
Wow.
Hello? What about my friends? What about my family? Like it's cool, but I don't know this fish lady. I
Yeah.
could have been having her offspring for dinner. Who knows?"
Oh my God.
It's wild. It's weird.
Okay. Man. If I had to pick one that stood out to me the most, I would say Sky
Was Sky
High.
High a Disney Channel original movie?
I believe so.
Really? That's amazing. Then yeah, that would probably be objectively one of the best then. Yeah, because that film, I didn't understand it a lot as a kid, but like growing up, I appreciate it a whole lot more now than I did back then. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen it in ages. I need to watch it again. I would honestly probably say, purely for nostalgia, Luck of the Irish.
Oh.
Dude, that one was what for anybody that doesn't know, it's basically about like this kid who, as he gets older, much like the kid who turned into a mermaid, he discovers his Irish heritage. And what was it? Like at one point, I believe like somebody, like a leprechaun tries to turn him and his family into like little leprechaun slaves or something. And
Yeah.
he starts reverting into like a tiny little stereotypical Irish person. And it's wild. At one point, have you ever seen Psych?
Psych, 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 psych.
Like Lassiter, the like of the, gosh, I mean, I don't. He's like the chief. No, he's not the chief. But like Lassiter, like as an adult, like he's in Psych, and he's like one of the best characters. He's a high school bully
Oh,
in Luck of the Irish. And whenever I rewatched it like a couple years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, that's John Lasseter. But he's like, he's a little, he's a little boy. Is it John Lasseter? Is this? Or am I thinking of? Wait, John Lasseter? Is that
he's the
Pixar?
Pixar.
Pixar. Well, you know, I don't know many Lasseters, so that's
Mm-hmm.
probably it. But like that film was so weird because it was just like you had to stop your family from getting turned into like leprechauns, and
Yeah.
it was just so weird. And I think there was one part of the film that I was just always fascinated with, was like this one kid basically doing like his Irish dance super well. And I was just like, at the end of it, literally, I looked and I was like, man, I wish I was Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just like, I was envious of Irish. Because I was like, this is so cool. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could be a leprechaun. And I don't know why that was what I was left with. But after that, I was like, man, for the longest time, I was like, Mom, Dad, are we Irish at all? And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, no, I don't think so. And then like years later, my brother took a DNA test and said that he was like 40% Irish. And it's like, well, that means I must be like some percentage Irish. I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
It's a shame that I don't care about it anymore. Dang, like tell me that when I was a kid watching Luck of the Irish, I'd be like, oh my gosh, put on the green hat, start dancing around, give me a pot of gold,
Gold coins, chocolate coins.
I was actually about to say chocolate coins, yes, yeah. But no, I think that was probably one of my favorite Disney Channel original movies, just purely for nostalgia though.
Yeah.
I can't think of many others. Now they have Disney Channel original movies where it's like, I believe one was called like How to Make a Perfect Boyfriend. And it was like this girl who like I don't know, like wrote into a service and literally manufactured a perfect robot boyfriend, and I was just like, that's creepy and weird. Like who's like designing a teenage boy for a teenage girl? Like that's weird. It just felt kind of odd,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't know. Kids growing up with Disney Channel and like Nickelodeon nowadays don't have anywhere near as good content as we used to have growing up. I feel
Yeah.
it's really sad. I think like the last good Nickelodeon live action show that I saw was probably Victorious. I didn't like anything after that. And then like you saw like Sam and Cat, that was like the beginning of the downward spiral.
Yeah.
Literally over the pandemic, quarantine, I literally just watched all of Drake and Josh on Hulu. Every single episode that was available, and I love that show still to this day. I think probably one of my favorite parts is whenever Josh hits Oprah with his car.
Wow.
Did you never see that?
No.
There's literally, because Josh is like one of the biggest fans of Oprah, and he loves her so much. So Drake, like I believe, gets them tickets to go see her, and he like is starting to drive in, and he's like not looking around, and he just straight up runs his car into Oprah. And it's like, oh my gosh, he ran over like his most favorite celebrity ever. And the thing ends with like, hey, Drake is like, hey, I got you a signature from Oprah. Like I got her autograph for you. And it's like, wow, that's amazing. What is it? And it's like a restraining order. And he's like, oh no, I got a restraining order. And Drake's like, yeah, but look down. I got her signature. I got her autograph. And I'm just like,
Oh man.
this show's amazing. It's writing that still stands the test of time, I believe.
I remember growing up as a kid, watching Disney Channel with a lot of the boys at my elementary school. Your masculinity was challenged at my school. I remember one day we were coming back from recess or something. I heard a couple boys ahead of me talking about Disney Channel, and they said the boys
Uh-oh.
watch Disney Channel. They are
Gay?
yes.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
How old were they? Like 7 or 8? I mean, that makes
I must
sense.
have been in sixth or fifth grade when that
Yeah, I mean, I
happened.
feel like at that point it's like, it's just dumb kids, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point they're gonna call everything that's enjoyable is gay, you know.
Yeah.
If you like this, then that's gay. If you're not brooding or sad, you're like on your way to being an edgelord at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Back up a little bit. I mean, what did they like then? It's like, yeah, man, if you're not watching Spike, oh,
Yeah. I
what
know.
would you be watching? Like barely PG-13 stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm 11 and I'm watching PG-13 stuff. Don't mess with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
just
don't
wild.
eat PB&J as I eat.
I don't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I eat nothing but peanut butter sandwiches because I'm just edgy like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got time for the J.
Yeah.
It's oh man, I'm trying to think. I didn't have a whole lot of that growing up where people were like,
Okay.
"Oh, that's oh, you like that? That's for kids or stuff." Like honestly, like, cause I would be in high school and I would be talking to like my classmates and be like, "Yo, did you see the newest episode of Steven Universe?" And be like, "Yeah, dude, it was great. It was a great show."
Oh.
Like, just because I also had a really small high school, I had maybe 6 or 7 people in my graduating class, not counting like foreign exchange students who also walked that were never with us though. We literally had like a graduating class of like 6 people.
Wow.
It was wild. 'Cause it was I mean from first grade all the way up to 12th grade, that entire school probably had like a little over 100 people in it. That's it. For the entire place. And you wonder why sometimes my teacher just wouldn't show up. That's crazy though. I honestly I look back on those times fondly.
Yeah.
I think the first time I ever experienced someone actually being like, "Oh, I don't like this because that's crazy," was when I came here for the first time and I visited through I don't know their program where they'll fly you out.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, like what bands do you guys like?" And they were like, "Oh, this and that. Like, what do you like?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a fan of Imagine Dragons," which they get a lot of hate now for some reason.
Oh.
A lot of people hate Imagine Dragons because they think like, oh, their music's uninspiring and whatever. I'm just like, I think their music's fun. It's inspiring. A lot of people hated Radioactive, which I get because I didn't care for Radioactive. I think it's one of my least favorite songs from them. They made a lot better songs, I think. But literally, I said like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of Imagine Dragons, and this guy was like, oh, I can't stand Imagine Dragons. I would never listen to them. And I'd be like, oh well. Me, the intellectual type, I'm like, oh, you know, why? Please tell me why. Like, what's is it? The songs? Is it the compositions of the music? Or then he's like, no, man. Like, my nephew listens to that. Like, why would I ever want to listen to something my nephew listens to? That's gay. And I'm just like, what? You mean to tell me you, an adult male,
Yeah.
are gonna not want to listen or watch or do anything purely because somebody that you deem as childish likes it as well?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what else kids like? Kids like pizza. I'm not going to not like pizza because kids like pizza, you know? Like, that's just, it was so weird to me. And that was a mindset that I got out of whenever I was in high school. Because, have you ever played the game Undertale?
No.
I could not stand the fandom around that game. Fans were obnoxious, they were annoying, and I was just like, I'm never gonna play this. It was the same thing with Steven Universe. Fans were like really just weird, and I was just like, I don't ever want to watch this. And I had an agreement with my best friend back in high school, basically where if you ever bought each other a game, you were basically obligated to play it for a little bit. And one day he said, you know what? Undertale, play it. And I was like, no. And I sat down and played it almost all the way through in one sit down because it was amazing. And at that point, I promised myself, I'm never going to let like a crummy fan base stop me from enjoying something good. I'm never going to let somebody else who's annoying enjoying it make me not enjoy it purely for because I imagine anything good in this world is probably going to have somebody annoying who also likes it. So I feel like you can't just like cut yourself off from something purely because somebody that you find annoying likes it. It's the same thing with the reason why I didn't watch Steven Universe. And then I watched it, and it's probably, not including anime, probably my favorite like Western animated show ever. Because I just find it to be completely enthralling in animation, in story, and characters. And I just, all of that because I stopped letting people dictate what I would or would not like. And it's just amazing to me getting to like a college and having someone be like, I'm not going to like this because somebody that I don't like likes it. And it's just wild. Have you ever had anybody do that? Basically say why they wouldn't like something and it was just the most petty reason ever?
Yeah, I would say that instance with the kids walking back into class.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a period where I was trying to fit in a little bit in elementary school. I kind of had a mini period, and I kept that Disney Channel love on the down low. Once I heard those kids say it, I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, I'm not gonna ever
Yeah,
tell anyone I know,
exactly.
because they're gonna find out and they're gonna associate me with that word." And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that word meant, but the way they said it,
It was
I
bad.
just know
It's like
it was.
I don't know what gay is, but
Yeah.
it must be bad.
Mhm.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. I had that association with a lot of words as a kid where I would just listen to it and I'd just be like, man, I don't know it. I don't know what that meant, but it's probably bad because they
Mhm.
called me that. That's, it's weird.
Yeah.
But what did you tell people you liked then? Or were you just like, I don't like anything
But at some point,
edgy?
yeah, I'm edgy.
I don't like anything. Ugh.
Ugh. I don't even like Chef Boyardee.
Dang, man. I mean, I don't know. I think liking Chef Boyardee is pretty gay. I don't know about you.
Mm.
Man, you like good food?
Ew.
Ew. Gay.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Get away from me. It's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That was the words kids
Pretty much. I
use.
mean, people still use gay as an insult nowadays, but I feel like it's just like a little disassociated. Like my friend who's also gay, like he'll use the word gay as an insult all the time, and I'll just be like, is there a reason why you say? He's like, it's just a word that people use as an insult, and I'm like, well, I mean, I guess because whenever I think of like calling someone gay in that way, it never rings true to me to think like, oh, I'm calling them a homosexual, because growing up, people like us were always around just the word being used as like an insult, like a pejorative. It was
Yeah.
never really used to actually describe someone who was just attracted to the same sex. It's weird how
Yeah.
words kind of like feel like they change a little bit of a meaning over time. It's weird whenever it's like implanted in the back of your head from experience.
But yeah, a couple years later, I finally sat down with one of my friends, and they admitted they love Disney Channel, and it was word vomit after.
Oh my gosh, me too.
You know, oh, that's it. And then we went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to take off that weight that I had put on me for so many years and let it off.
It's like
on
the
that
dam
one person.
burst.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. What do you think were probably some of your favorite Disney Channel shows?
I liked Proud Family.
Proud Family was good.
Oscar always got beat up by Sugar Mama.
Pretty
Somehow.
much.
He would just stand there and she'd just knock him in the head and he'd fall over, doing nothing.
What was that crossover between the Proud Family and it was another show, but there was a movie.
Oh.
Was it the movie? No, there was the Proud Family movie, but then there was it a crossover with the Proud Family and Lilo and Stitch? Was it that? Was that the crossover?
Whoa.
There was a crossover between the Proud Family and because I didn't watch the Proud Family a lot growing up, and then I saw them on an episode of another show that I watched. It's gonna bother me now until I remember it. I need to find out. I need to find
Okay.
out what it was, but I mean, I watched the Proud Family probably more whenever I became a teenager, and I was going back and enjoying shows that I didn't get to enjoy as a kid, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I need to let me see here. The Proud.
Proud Family. This- mm, mm,
Yeah, it was a crossover with the Proud Family and Lilo and Stitch.
What?
Yes, because like Lilo and Stitch had a crossover with the Proud Family. They had a crossover with Recess. They had so many cool crossovers. Yeah, literally. It's like that right there. Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild, isn't it? I think one of the weirdest things that you think about that, though, is whenever they cross over, you have to understand, like, they're two different art styles, but they're both supposed to be humans. And it's like, that's weird. You're a human, but you don't look like this human. Like, well, I think that's just a little different. But, like, it's just like your proportions are completely different. Like, you're in a completely different style.
Yeah.
It's weird. But I always loved it. I always loved whenever cartoons or any kind of kid show would have crossover episodes.
Absolutely.
Because I would just be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like crossovers, that's for the big boy TV. That's for the big boy movies. And like now we're getting it. I always enjoyed that. Were you ever a fan of The Emperor's New Groove?
Yes.
Did you ever watch the TV show?
Yes.
I loved that show with a burning passion.
Hmm.
I tried to rewatch it a few days ago. It does not hold up.
Oh.
It is. It's so awful, but I love it so much.
Yeah.
But it's like watching something and you're expecting it to be as amazing as it was whenever you were a kid. I literally, because it didn't show on the regular Disney Channel anymore. Whenever I started getting into it, it showed up on Fox Kids every single Saturday morning. It was the literal Saturday morning cartoon, and I would set it to record every single Saturday morning. I would get 2 episodes every Saturday morning, and that was like my thing. I would be like, I don't care about this other show. You can keep your Spider-Man, you can keep your Power Rangers. Give me that, give me that Emperor's New School, baby.
Go Power Rangers.
I was never into a Power Rangers like a show growing up ever.
Yeah, that's a strange thing for me too. I liked getting the toys from McDonald's, but never got into the show.
I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I would go over to my buddy like Josh's house, and like we would sometimes like put on like Power Rangers masks, and we would like fight and like just bounce up and down on the bed and just like smacking each other and everything, like kids do.
Right.
But I was like, I remember when he's like, oh hey, you want to watch Power Rangers? I was like, no. I'd rather fight.
What?
It's like Power Rangers? No, that's gay.
Oh my gosh, man!
Bringing it full around, full circle.
Full circle.
Man, but no, I fondly remember so many TV shows from back then, and I know that like there's always this stereotype of, oh, you like something as a kid, and then whenever you grow up, you think that it's probably bad.
Right.
That happens way too much with me, though. I'll go back and I'll watch something and I'll just be like, this is awful. This is horrible. And the fact that I ever liked it makes me sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Do you have anything like that? Something that you loved as a kid that you now are like, that's awful.
Yes. But first, just a disclaimer. We are not making fun of the word gay.
No, not at all.
At all.
No.
Don't want anyone to misinterpret that.
No.
It's
just
this episode.
It's just the fact that like that we both have had experience with people using that as an insult as a kid and like not knowing why. And I can tell you that's honestly a really damaging thing whenever you don't know anything about someone being a homosexual. Mm-hmm. And your first introduction to anything about that is someone using gay as an insult. It tends to really kind of twist your view, especially whenever you hear it at a completely strict Christian school where it's like, you're homosexual. No, keep. It tends to be a very damaging thing, and I think I find it not funny, but like weird that was just so common back then, just to use something like that as an insult. Mm-hmm. Whereas nowadays, it's like even if you do still say it as an insult, like it doesn't really ring as true as back then.
Right.
It feels like a lot worse. I feel like. One of the reasons why I don't use gay as an insult anymore, because I used it back when I was a kid, when I literally was just like, I don't know what this means, but it hurt people, so here.
Right.
It's weird. It's like saying something that you don't know the meaning to, but like the tone in which you say it, the context. Like if you say it to hurt somebody, people can really tell, even if they don't know what the word means. Like it's meant to harm somebody, you know? Learned a lot of that as a kid, especially like over Xbox 360 online chat. Whenever you're playing Halo, the amount of expletives I heard. It's like, I'm going to do this to your mama. I'm going to do that to your mama. Your mom's gay. And I was like, but she's not. She's with my dad. That doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. You're confusing me. Because my little 9-year-old brain couldn't take it, you know? It's wild, especially whenever you're in like such a sheltered small town.
Yeah.
And then you're exposed to the outside world with like the invention of like voice chat in games. It's like, I'm talking to someone who's from the UK now. I'm talking this. I'm doing that. It's wild. It's weird. I feel like now kids get that though, like literally from the time which they're able to understand language, they're just on the internet, and it's like that's a scary thing. Because I got it when I was like 9 or 10, and like that, you know, I think that was still a little damaging to me and to my sensibilities. But I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of, even at my elementary school, a lot of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders started using some words toward each other. You'd be at the lunch table and they're talking about stuff with each other, and you're saying, why is that your focus? There's other kids here.
At that point, did you know what those words meant at that point?
Kinda. I mean,
Kinda.
I'm
You
familiar. They would usually use cuss words a
okay.
lot. That became their language.
Mhm.
It became encoded into their language to each other.
Mhm.
Shove someone and they'd say something to one another and
Yeah.
they'd say it back. And, whoa, a little aggressive, don't you think?
Yeah, I feel like as a kid, whenever you're introduced to swearing, it's like you like most kids overuse it a lot.
Mm.
Then when you get older, you're just like you back off on it. And I remember one time, someone that I was talking to said that you can hurt somebody's feelings just as bad without having to use swear words.
Mm.
And it's like that's why whenever people get older, they tend to swear less than whenever they were kids. Because like if they want to hurt you, they can do it a lot more easily than just hurling an expletive at you. Because
Yeah.
expletives don't offend me now. They don't make me sad. Like if someone's like they walk up to me and they scream like a word at me, I'll just be like, okay. Like I don't find any meaning in that. It's just like you just said a word to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters. I don't know. I feel like as a kid though, anytime anybody would say anything, even like minutely hurtful to me, I would just
Yeah.
instantly. It was like a super powered up attack to my heart. And I was like,
Yes.
no, I can't take
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like getting a knife in the heart. It's like, man, you called me the F word.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dead.
What movies do you watch? Oh, I watch, Spider-Man. That's stupid. Oh, just
Yep.
right.
It's harsh. It's
took
like
me
that's
down.
stupid. That means you think. That means he thinks I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Dang.
Dang.
Sad. I'm gonna go back home and listen to My Chemical Romance now.
Mm-hmm.
I never got My Chemical Romance. Did you ever enjoy any of their music?
Man, that My Chemical Romance, that was done around a lot back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What type of style of music did they have? I'm trying to remember, but I can't.
I always remember just listening to the dubstep in middle school and high school.
Oh.
Back whenever that was a thing, I was like,
Mhm.
yo, Skrillex.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I don't recall listening to a lot else. That and just a lot of electronic music in general.
Junction, what's
What's
your
your
function?
I didn't listen to that in middle school or high school.
Oh.
That would have been something I would have been made fun of for.
Okay.
I watched that in elementary school though, like all the way through.
Yeah, okay, class, we're gonna see a little video just to get an idea of the lesson, and then
Mhm.
they put up Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, dude, we would have never been allowed to watch that in my school because it has the word rock in it. literally, and let me tell you, extremely strict, whether it be Christian or anything else, like extremely strict schools and extremely strict environments tend to breed the most extreme people because whenever you hold someone back that much, it makes them want to rebel so much more.
Yes.
Like when you don't give people a certain amount of freedom, it makes them want to makes them want to become sexist, racist, homophobic. They want to become everything bad because they're not allowed to be anything bad.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, if someone chooses to do something like that, they see how it affects someone, and they're like, "Oh, dang, that kind of hurt them. I need to be a little bit more of a human."
Yeah.
But then, whenever everything is constricted so hard, it's like they just get out and they become toxic, horrible people.
Yes.
And that's why I don't really like extremely strict environments because I think it can really make for a damaged child.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like you can't watch a video because it's got the word rock in the title. Like that's
Oh,
wild,
yeah.
wild. Because I mean, there's not even any like I wouldn't even consider the music to be rock in that.
Mhm.
I mean, it's weird.
What was the food like at the school?
Food?
Was it really strict?
I mean,
as well.
kind of, but they didn't care what they gave. They'd be like, "Here's a chicken sandwich, here's some fries."
Oh, okay.
On Fridays, they'd be like, "Yeah, we ordered pizza." Found a roach in the pizza a couple times. Literally, my friend, my best friend, opened up his pizza box one time and like lifted up a pepperoni. Underneath it, just a roach crawling around.
Oh,
Recording stopped.
yeah.
We're in the dark.
We had a quick brunch break, but we're back.
Don't try the pizza. It's got roaches.
Yes.
That's wild. He literally like lifted it up and was like, "Hey there, little guy. All right, get out of here." And then he was like, "Not gonna eat that piece." And then he ate all around it. And I was just like, "Man, I'm never getting pizza here again."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Wild time.
Yikes.
Wild time.
They must have gotten it from Papa Tim's or something.
Nah, they got it from Cece's.
Oh, that's a big brand.
Yeah, CC's is going downhill. They're losing a lot of money. Like if you like look at their company history, it's gotten pretty bad.
Mm,
But I honestly don't think it was CC's fault because
okay.
they bring the pizza into the school cafeteria, keep it in the lunchroom there for a couple hours, then bring it out. Because we've had other food there before that had bugs in it. So I was like, I'm not going to blame CC's for that. I'm just going to blame the fact that it's been back there for a few hours. Oh,
That's
bad
when they
time.
need to really clean the cafeteria
Yeah,
area where they cook and clean and do
Oh,
all the
it
stuff.
got to a certain point where I mean, no one who's in because I still like the people who ran my old school,
Mm-hmm.
but they're never gonna see this. So I'll go ahead and say like there was literally a time in which they could not pass a health inspection, so they were like, we can't cook food here anymore. So they would every single day buy food from another place, bring it there, and serve that to the kids. But literally, it was like they couldn't cook food there anymore. Like it was that bad. And it's like,
Yikes.
how bad is it to where you can't cook? I've seen so many crummy restaurants, so many crummy fast food places that can still serve food.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just scary to me. I was like, you can't pass a small, get a C, get a D. I don't know, get something,
Make something.
you know? As wild, man.
Yeah. Whew.
What a time.
What a time.
What a time. Times like that when I wish I could just bring a couple power pellets to school.
Yes.
Nom nom nom
No,
nom
no, 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 no.
nom.
I actually almost got on farmersonly.com when I was a kid. I remember very vividly, I saw the commercial with my brother and sister and mom. I went back into my room on my computer, farmersonly.com, enter.
Did you not want to be lonely?
No, I was just curious if I could get in, if someone could detect if I was in fact a farmer or not. Just
Oh,
by,
that's what.
yeah.
How old were you at this?
Gosh, 2011,
Oh, I thought you were about to say,
2012.
"Oh gosh, I was 20."
No. That would be quite interesting,
Oh,
you
that'd be
know.
sad. It'd be like,
Yeah.
well, they could probably detect if you're a farmer now,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I mean, so how old did you say? You're like,
2011, 2012.
oh
If it
my
was
god.
2011, I'd be 12. 2012, I was 13. So 12 to 13 and enter. And I was about to create an account, but I was so afraid that if someone detected I wasn't a farmer, the FBI would.
You weren't
Yeah,
even scared of you weren't even scared of your parents catching you. You were scared of the FBI coming to your door
yeah,
being like, "Excuse me, you're under arrest for pretending to be a farmer."
yeah. You're not a farmer.
Oh gosh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, they have so many niche dating sites like that. Like Farmers Only like had a lot of commercials, but there was one that was like seafarers.com and it was like only for people who were like it was only for like men who were like boating captains and the women that were interested in them.
Mm.
That's a weird thing. There's so many other weird ones too. I mean, it's like it's just so wild. There was one that was like called Elite and it was literally where like you had to have at least like a six-figure salary in order to be able to date because only the elites. And I'm just like, what is this? You get so many scammers on everything. You
Yeah.
know, honestly, like I still get emails sometimes. It's like I remember one time when I was 14 or 15, someone like exchanged 100 emails with me, and I didn't realize that they were a scammer. It was just like, oh yes, I'm just this nice lady from foreign country. Just want to make a friend, and I was just like, you want to make friends? I want to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a 14 year. I want to make friends too. And like about halfway through, she was like, hey, by the way, if you give me your banking account information, I'll send you a little bit of money. I'll send you some money. And
Oh.
I was like, oh, I would totally do. I don't have a bank account. I'm a kid. Sorry. And they were like, well, can you get your mommy or daddy's bank account? And I was just like, I don't know. Maybe. No, I can't do that. Like they'd probably get really mad at me.
Uh-huh.
And literally, it was just like, I totally thought for the longest time I was just talking to a nice person, and then eventually the email stopped, and I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't good enough to be their friend. And then at the age of like 17 or 18, I was like, hold on a second. They were just trying to scam me,
Mm-hmm.
but they were dedicated. They were like, I'm gonna get all the money out of this
Yes.
little 14-year-old's piggy bank. I'm gonna get all of it.
Everything.
It was so wild. But like, I still get emails. I got an email yesterday from somebody that said, "Hi Dylan, would you care to talk?" And I was just like, "Who the heck? Get the heck out of my inbox! Leave. Go to the spam folder where you belong."
Yeah.
It's just, it's wild, but it's everywhere. I literally signed up for an app a few days ago to look for roommates because once like the spring comes, I'm going to try and get a place, here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, someone started sending me like "Hey, you want to meet up and do some things?" I was like, "I'm looking for a roommate. Like,
Yeah.
get the heck out of here. Why are you infiltrating this?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just people infiltrating a roommate finder, being like,
Yeah.
"I won't be your roommate, but I'll be something else for some money." And I was just like, "What?
Oh.
Why?
Yeah.
Go away, please."
Mhm.
It's everywhere now. I mean, the amount of times I've been solicited by people when I'm playing online video games.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Hey," and I'm just like, "I'm trying to no-scope the noobs. Get away from here."
Mhm.
It's infiltrated everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it's kind of humorous, the fact that like how far people will go to try and scam you, but it's also sad because it's just like so much spam that you have to ignore. It's wild.
It's crazy.
It's times like these that I think the internet was a mistake.
Mhm. Yeah, sometimes you have certain moments where you get stuff and you go, man, what these people think of doing stuff like this?
People fall for it. That's why they do it.
Yeah,
People
that's the
fall for it.
thing.
It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cultured person, obviously, so I still watch Dr. Phil every now and then. You know me. And there was like a segment he did where like there were these 2 or 3 women. Each of them were scammed by like the same dude in a foreign country for a couple $100,000 each. They never saw him. They never did anything, but they were so lonely and so desperate, like just for affection, that they sent him hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm just like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
But they were elderly. They were like at least in their 60s, like 50s or 60s, and it was like, oh my gosh, like they're sad. They don't know how the internet works.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these scammers still do it, because they know people fall for it, and it's awful.
Yeah.
Do you think about like having a nest egg of like $100,000 or $200,000 that you've saved up over the course of your entire life? Poof, like Thanos snapped, it's gone, and you're like, well, guess I'm gonna die poor now. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's horrendous. I feel like this got really sad, but like it's awful.
Yeah.
It's
It's really bad.
happy fun time, Pac-Man pellets.
Pac-Man
Yeah.
pellets.
Well, I mean, it's not really happy. I mean, those pellets are being consumed. They're dying.
Pretty big pellets.
But if you send in $1 a day, we can help save Pac-Man pellets.
Gerber Life Baby Plan.
Oh my gosh.
Pennies a day. Your
For
child-
just pennies a day.
pennies a day.
Honestly, like I see the commercials where it's like just for a couple dollars a day. I'm like, well, that's not a lot. And then you consider how much it is a month. It's like, actually, no, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's funny. You see a lot of that for like animals. I feel like there was a time in which like I saw a lot of it where, hey, send in some money, we'll help some animals, and send in some money, we'll help some kids. Now it feels like the ones where they want you to help children is like calm down a little bit, and it's just nothing but like help save these animals. And it's just like, what happened to helping the kids too? It's like, I don't know. I saw one where it was like send in some money to help these like war veterans who came back and like they can't afford treatment. I'm just like, and the government's not helping them?
Yeah.
Hello, they lost a leg fighting for it. Help them, help
Yeah.
them. It's wild.
My goodness.
It's pandemic. It's rough times,
Mm-hmm.
man. I don't like watching TV nowadays.
Yeah.
The news bums me out, and commercials bum me out because I can't skip them. I think we've gotten spoiled by internet video. By being able to just turn on an ad blocker or pay a couple dollars more to get a premium Hulu with no ads. Now, anytime I see ads, I'm just like, get this out of here. Get this out of here. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be advertised for something. I don't know. Have you ever been advertised something that you've bought already?
I think one day we were thinking of buying something we saw on TV, but that was a while ago, and I don't remember if it went through or not.
I remember at one point, and this is whenever I started to realize it, the newest Call of Duty game that came out, Call of Duty 23 or whatever, I don't know, and I bought it, and I was like, oh, this is a fun game, and then YouTube just started feeding me ads for it, ad after ad after ad, and I'm just like, is there a way I can just show YouTube that I've bought this game already, I've already paid for it, I don't want any more advertisements for it. Like, I've already given you my money. What else can I do? I just wish, like, if you'd bought the product, you can just stop getting ads for it. But that's not the way ads work. If you look something up, it's like, oh, you looked for this. We're going to give it to you. Yeah. So, you know, I was just like, it's wild. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
I remember watching one commercial from Chef Boyardee where
Boy,
the
the
boy
can roll. Oh,
becomes
no.
the monster.
I've never seen that
And he's
before.
going through the pantry, and the voice actor goes, "Only the rich, meaty sauce of Chef Boyardee can tame the beast
I've never seen that
in
before.
you."
The only Chef Boyardee commercial I remember, and I remember this one so well, is the little girl who wanted a can,
Yes.
and it just rolls its way to her, and I'm just like, that's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Why won't Chef Boyardee roll me a can?
Chef Boyardee.
Dang it, man! Come on, give me some ravioli.
Yeah.
You know, give me some stromboli,
Mm.
some pastoroni. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing else rhymes with it. I love Chef Boyardee stuff. You know, it's well designed can. You know, he's a good looking chef. He's like, that guy doesn't look like he's gonna do you any harm. He's not gonna poison you. Maybe, possibly. He'll give you some good. He'll give you some
how
good
you
stuff.
cook it. Make sure it's well cooked.
I mean, it's already cooked when it's in the can. Thankfully,
Oh.
yeah, you can eat it. Yeah, you can eat it cold.
Okay.
But well, I mean, no one wants cold ravioli.
Right.
But like that's,
Cool.
I think in most instances the Chef Boyardee stuff is already cooked. Because if it's got meat in there, they can't put raw meat inside of that can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah. No,
that's something.
heck, I remember times my dad would just crack open a can of ravioli. He would just eat it straight out of the can. I'd be like, "You're not going to heat that up?" And he'd be like, "No, it's cooked. It's fine. You know, survival." And I was like, "Survival? We're in our living room. You're watching
Yeah.
TV. This isn't survival. There's a microwave right over there." And you just be like, "Well, I don't want to get up." You know. And I was like,
Yeah,
shoot, you're right. I don't want to get up
I
either.
don't want to get up.
Like, I'll complain about it. I ain't gonna get up for
Yeah.
it. Chef Boyardee, roll me another can.
Yeah.
Just
Thanks.
rolls a can. Thank you, Chef.
Chef. Yeah. I
Chef.
never had Chef Boyardee. All right, I know everyone's getting up and walking out the studio audience. Part 2, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.
You've never had Chef Boyardee before.
No. So what happened was my mom, we had okay unhealthy bad stuff, and there's some things where no, we're not gonna eat that. That's
Chef Boyardee was
too
one of them?
processed, and I assume that Chef Boyardee was one of the things where my mom said, "Stop."
So, because Chef Boyardee, like a ravioli, it's like it's still got meat in there. So like, it's not the most healthiest thing ever. But like, what did she let you have then? Like that she considered unhealthy, I guess. Because if she let you have chips, I mean, I think chips are worse than Chef Boyardee.
We had chips.
Man.
We had gosh, I keep forgetting the name of the brand that makes the lasagna, the frozen lasagna.
Oh, Stouffer's?
Yeah, Stouffer's.
Yeah, if you could have Stouffer's, you could have some Boyardee.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, that's childhood right there. Oh, I'm guessing she never let you have SpaghettiOs then.
Nope. No
No
Hosties,
SpaghettiOs.
no Little Debbie products for a while. We used to buy them, then we stopped.
Yeah.
And never had French toast sticks. Never.
I was never a big fan of French toast sticks.
Okay.
You know, it was just like, I'm just going to sop this, egg, cook bread and syrup. I don't like syrup. I don't put syrup on my pancakes or waffle.
Oh.
I just put butter. And then I put my mouth on it. That's all I do. Like, there's only 2 ingredients on pancakes or waffles: butter and my mouth.
Yes.
That's it. But man, that's what. Were you ever allowed to have canned soup at all?
Yes.
Because that's got a lot of sodium. It's got a whole bunch of
yeah.
sodium. You'd be astounded how much is in like a chicken noodle soup.
Yes.
It's like you Salt City.
600 or
Salt City. Like
something.
you could drink seawater and it would be better for you probably.
Yeah.
It's wild. Something that I have mad nostalgia for was the Chef Boyardee pizza kits. They had those. They still have them today,
Okay.
but they're a little different. They literally changed their recipe in them like a year ago, and they don't taste the same anymore. They taste awful. What they would do is they would give you a bag of like the dough that you still had to add water to, a can of sauce that had pepperonis in the sauce. Yeah, little mini pepperonis in the marinara sauce, and then a little thing of Parmesan cheese.
Oh.
You literally just add water, you knead it up, put it on a pan, and here's what I would do. Because as a kid, I was like, what the heck? I'm not going to, because if you put the sauce down and put the cheese on top, it's like, well, the pepperonis are underneath the cheese.
Yeah.
What am I, some kind of animal? I want to be able to see the pepperonis I'm getting.
Right.
So I did the unthinkable. I would pour the Parmesan cheese into the can with the sauce mix it up, then spread it on there. And it looked pretty not great. It would look awful. It would literally look like normal marinara sauce that just had little specks of white every now and then. And my family was like, that's horrendous. How could you do that? That's weird. And then I would eat it, and I would just be like, this is some cheesy sauce. It's just like, because like I hate pizzas that don't have enough sauce on them.
Yep.
So this was like sauce forward, but you still had the cheese flavor. And let me tell you, I ate that way too much as a kid. But that was like my thing,
Right.
because it would be like, again, like it's just little pepperonis, like in the sauce, and it was amazing. It was like $5 for a kit that can make two, so it's like $2.50 a pizza, and it was spectacular.
Man.
Sad they changed it. They don't even include Parmesan in it anymore. You have to go buy your own Parmesan. It's like,
Right.
what am I, a millionaire, Chef Boyardee? Come on, you're the one making the products.
Right.
Give
Come
it to
on.
me.
Hand it over to me, man.
You know? There was one time whenever my grandmother came over. My grandmother's like the king of cooks, like not even queen. Like she's the king of like cooking in our house. Like so much so that her and like other women in my family put together like a cookbook of recipes that they made that's like that thick. And she was like, whenever I was a kid, she was like, oh, what do you want? And I was like, oh, can you make like a pizza kit? And she was like, what's a pizza kit? And like I pulled it out and I gave it to her. I was like, oh, I guess I mixed the sauce together and put it on. And she was like, she looked down and like with her culinary mind was like, what is that? And I was like, that's the sauce. And she's like, you're going to eat it like that? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, no, you're not going to eat it like that. I'll put some cheese on it. I was like, no, there's already cheese in it. And she's like, it doesn't look right. Put cheese on it. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, let me put a little cheese. And she like put cheese on a little bit of it. And I was like, there you go. Cool. Don't put any more on. And then it came out. She ate the part that had like the extra cheese on top. And I would just eat that. And she would just be like, wow. How can you eat that? And I'll just be like, it's tasty.
It's tasty.
It's good. I'm a kid. I don't have standards. I'm a child. You must remember.
Yes.
But I have mad nostalgia for that. So much nostalgia for it. And it's sad that it's not the same anymore. I literally, over quarantine, I went and I was like, dang, I want to go get a box kit. And I just went to go get a box kit to make it. And I was like, oh, they don't include some of this stuff before. That's fine. I'll just get Parmesan myself. And I made it. And it tasted horrible. It was awful. And I know that it's not that like my taste buds have changed. Like it just genuinely, they changed something about it. And it's no longer the same.
No longer the same.
Childhood ruined.
I remember we saw episode 3 of Star Wars. Before we saw it, we went to the store to grab some snacks. And I remember eating a frozen pretzel. That we put in the microwave. Didn't put butter on it. Didn't taste great.
You put butter on a pretzel?
Yeah.
Really?
Auntie Anne's does it where when they finish it, they kind of dip it in.
Oh, they're like, but
they dump it,
yeah, I get that.
Dunk it.
Yeah.
I didn't put.
I never did that with the store bought, or the frozen ones. I would just always put salt on them, and then I would
Oh.
sprinkle a little bit of cheese, and then melt that. It's good. It's
Okay.
a good thing.
Yeah, watching a dark film when you're trying to eat food, especially what happens at the end of episode 3,
Yeah.
you kind of lose your appetite. Really.
Yeah, definitely.
Poor Anakin,
You know, getting all of his limbs
10-year-old
chopped
kid,
off.
it's, oh my. And that scene happened.
You were my brother, Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
really
goodness.
hit me really
Yeah.
hard as a kid,
Yeah.
seeing that. Oh my Anakin, what did you do? You betrayed everybody.
Yep. Execute Order 66.
Yeah.
It's awful. I had to be completely honest. Aside from maybe a little bit every now and then when I was a kid, never saw the prequels.
Okay.
I just heard they were awful, and I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm good. Original trilogy is fine for me. And then I remember going to see episode 7. And I was like, man, this is so good. It's good. It's a little bit of a retread. It's a little bit similar, you know, but it's good. And then I saw episode 8. And I literally could rant for 2 hours. Here's the thing. I'm not even a massive Star Wars fan. I like Star Trek better. I think Star Trek is better.
Okay.
Especially the newer movies.
Yeah.
Also directed by J.J. Abrams. Cough, cough. And episode 8 was so problematic. I'm assuming you've seen 7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, stopped at 8.
You stopped at 8? You didn't watch 9? You did not miss much. 9 was 2 movies put into one.
Okay.
And they were both pretty bad movies. Literally just like the coolness whenever it's like, oh hey, shoot every weapon you have at Luke Skywalker, and they shoot all their weapons at him, and then it like shows him off, and he's like, I was like, yo, that's so cool. And then you find out he's a hologram. It's like, well, then that's not cool. That's not impressive. If I was a hologram, I wouldn't get hurt by it, you know? And then the thing that bothered me probably the most, aside from the fact that like he just straight up hologram died, you know, was that at one point while they're inside of the inside, like whenever they're blocked in, they're like, oh my goodness, we can't get out. He's like, wait a minute, Luke's here. He had to get in here somehow, so that means there's a back entrance. No, he didn't. It was a complete coincidence they found that back entrance because he was just a ghost. He's just a hologram projection. Right. He didn't have to come in through a back door. So the fact that they went back there and found a back door was a complete coincidence. And it's like that bothers me so much because it's just like not only did they completely, not really even show Luke fighting at all, because like throughout all of episode 7, you hear about how amazing Luke was. How amazing he became. And it's like, man, from from 5 to 6, you can already see he's become a pretty powerful Jedi. From 6 to 7, you hear about how he's like one of the most powerful Jedis ever. We never see it in episode 8, and I'm like, okay, but that's fine. We'll see it in episode 9, and then he dies at the end of episode 8, and I'm just like, why?
Right.
Show us the powerful Jedi he became, please. And it's like, here's the thing. I was okay with his death. Him looking off at the two sons, dying. Tucson. And dying, I was fine with that. It came too early, though. I wanted a movie of which he actually fought before he died. Right. They killed off Han Solo before he actually got to do anything. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. At least we got Luke and Leia. They killed off Luke before he could actually do anything. I was like, at least we got Leia. It's like, well, I mean, they didn't kill off Leia because of that. But,
right.
It's just like, well, cool. All 3 of the original characters are gone, and they didn't get to do anything, really. And what do we have? We have, and at the end of, are you ever going to watch episode 9? No? Kylo Ren dies.
Oh.
He just he comes back and he fights with Rey because do you know who they brought back in episode 9?
I read the wiki.
Yeah.
Plot
they brought back the Emperor.
Oh, yes.
Palpatine. Yes. They brought him back, and it's like, oh, okay. I guess. And eventually Kylo Ren comes back and like helps Rey. And it exerts him so much that like he falls in her arms, and then he's just like, I helped you, yay. And then he just dies. Just completely fades out. And I'm just like, he was the last cool character. I think that a few of the things they did with him were kind of but ultimately I think he was still a cool character. And they really kind of ruined Rey in episode 8 and 9. And then they just finally killed him off. Finn and Rey were like 2 of the most promising characters in episode 7. When I saw the trailer and I saw Finn pick up that lightsaber and turn it on, I was like, yo, we're getting a stormtrooper that's turning into a Jedi? That's what I thought. Think about that. A stormtrooper becoming a Jedi. Someone trained to fight against the Jedi, not only not fighting against them, but becoming what he was trained to fight against. Stupid, simple idea. I'm surprised it hadn't happened before. Maybe it happened before in the Legends, but like in canon, I'm surprised it hadn't happened before. Right. And then it just. And here's the thing: I was even whenever he got beat down in episode 7 by Kylo Ren, I was totally expecting in episode 8 for him to get some training. Maybe him come back and do that. He would have been an amazing Jedi.
Yes.
I mean, and here's the thing: is that I thought Rey was fine in episode 7. I was like, I'm excited for where her character is gonna go. Episode 8 kind of ruined it because they were like, oh, please, your parents were nobodies, duh, and people got mad that people got mad at that because it's like, oh, you think she has to be someone? It's like, I didn't think she had to be someone, but episode 7 was clearly stating she is somebody.
Right.
Her parents were somebody. Here's we need to find out what it is. Right. And then episode 8 is like, it completely ignored it. They really need, and I don't know if they're ever going to do this, but they really need a Kevin Feige for the Star Wars universe. Because in every single Marvel movie, Kevin Feige makes sure, nope, that can't happen. It contradicts this. Or nope, that can't.
Come on, guys.
Something that, he knows the overall arcing story of every single phase. And he says, start and the end point are okay. It's okay if we get there through different means a little bit, but it's got to stay on track. Why didn't they do that for Star Wars, which is arguably probably a more profitable franchise. If it's handled correctly, Star Wars would be more profitable than Marvel would ever be.
Oh yeah.
Because you not only have like so many, new fans, but you have so many fans who watch the originals, who watch the prequels. You don't, like, and it's surprising that they didn't have that. Because now it's like, at the end of this trilogy, what is there? There's Rey, there's Finn. Both of their characters have been kind of trashed.
Yeah.
And they became characters that I was just like, I wish I could care about you, but I don't.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't give me a reason to care. What did Finn do after episode 7? Nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. They had that whole arc where they went to the gambling place, and it was just like this weird animal cruelty message. It's like, I get it, animal cruelty, but like, you don't need that in a Star Wars film. It's like, what's the, I don't know. Like I'm not anti animal cruelty, but like, it's like, this is Star Wars. We're space wizards. Get back to the space wizards, please. Like, that's why we're here. And it's just it's so sad the way it turned out. And I feel like it's sad for me, even though I didn't love Star Wars to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be horrifying for people who grew up with that, stuff. And then you have the director of episode 8. Gosh, what was his name again? He did Knives Out as well. Rian Johnson. Blatantly taking any criticism that was towards the film and saying, oh, they're just Star Wars nerds. They'll never be happy. And here's the thing. There are absolutely people who are fans of Star Wars that they'll never be happy no matter what happens. They were angry with the prequels. They were angry with episode 7. They will never be satisfied. Ignoring those people, like, to completely take anybody that had any kind of valid criticism towards this film and just say, oh, they're just Star Wars nerds that'll never be appreciated. It's like, no. Like, you can't completely ignore any criticism towards your work because there are some people who will never be happy.
Correct.
He at one point released a photoshopped episode 8 poster, and it was like Luke on the front with like a lightsaber chainsaw thing with like his chest out and everything. You're like, this is the movie they actually wanted. Stupid Star Wars fans, like, insulting people. Ooh. And it's like,
Yikes.
you can't insult somebody because they had actual like complaints with your movie.
Yeah.
Like, what about the purple-haired general? The woman there who wasn't telling her, anybody on her ship before. Because, like, some people explain that away with, like, sometimes you just follow orders. And I get that. But whenever everybody's life is at stake, everybody has a chance of dying, no, I'm not just going to follow orders. You need to tell me what, because how do I know you haven't lost your mind? And people were like, oh, but she was a general. She knew the entire time. And it's like, here's your, like, most reliable person, who is Poe. Like, he's right there, ready to do everything. You gave him nothing at all. I don't think that was smart. That was a really dumb choice. That's why the rebellion happened on that ship. That's why Poe tried to fight back. And it's just an actual flaw with the film, I believe. And then she suicides, taking out a ship. And it's like, okay, I didn't care about your character because your character didn't make good choices, It's...
They needed Jon Favreau
and
Dave Filoni.
Exactly. Well, that's why, because, I mean, didn't Jon Favreau oversee The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Exactly. Let me be completely honest, because I was very Star Wars'd out, I only saw the first episode of The Mandalorian. I need to watch the rest of it. But because, like, I mean, episode 8 and episode 9, like, really burned me out for Star Wars. And I was like, I don't think I want to watch it. Because I was not on the whole hating Disney Star Wars thing. Because Disney's clearly been able to do something really good with the MCU for a long time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to give them a chance. But then, like, it's completely burned out. I thought Solo was not good.
I didn't even see it.
I liked Rogue One. I thought that was good.
Yes.
Actually, because you know what it was? It put the war in Star Wars. Also, camera stopped rolling again.
Oh.
We took a Star Wars break.
We took a
Jedi break.
Yes.
We cut the pizza with a lightsaber.
Had to wait 2 hours because that thing's hot.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, but I don't know. You know what I did start watching recently though that I never actually saw as a kid growing up because I wasn't into Star Wars at the time. I started watching the Clone Wars.
Nice.
Yeah, because I heard that's good, and they released the final season like last year or the year before to finally end the saga. I thought that was cool. So finally watching that, probably watch The Mandalorian next. I think my only issue with The Mandalorian was, like, obviously I know they have a TV budget, but some of the CGI in the first episode of The Mandalorian kind of was like, I don't. A little bit of it was a little off-putting.
Okay.
I'm assuming you've seen The Mandalorian.
Nope.
No, you haven't?
I
Oh,
got burned out with 8 and 9, and then people are like,
understandable.
"Dude, come on, Kika, come on!" And then
Yeah.
there's spoilers on YouTube, and
Yep.
I have to, whoa, easy,
Yeah.
easy,
Like,
people.
I'll watch it. It's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, you can't blame me for not caring for a long time because it's just, it ended up being so bad. Like, because me and my best friend, every time I would go back home, we would go and see this new Star Wars movie because I would go back for Christmas,
Right.
and that's when it would come out. Episode 7, it was like, yes. That was my final year in high school. Episode 8, we were like, let's go see it. It's amazing, and I enjoyed it after I saw it for the first time because I was like, it's new Star Wars. Of course, I'm going to enjoy it, you know. And then I went back to see it the second time. Took my nephew, and I was like, there's a problem there. There's a problem there. But it's still a good movie.
See, me too.
And then I saw it the third time. I took my mom to go see it because she's seen the Star Wars movies as well, and I was just like,
start noticing stuff.
like, no, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. I was like, I can't just be one of those random Star Wars haters. Like, but there's so many flaws with this movie. Because I remember some people online were defending it. Some good friends of mine too were like, oh, it's not a great Star Wars movie, but it's a good movie. And I would agree with that if it weren't for the fact that characters still make really dumb choices. And it's like, even if you didn't, if you completely ignored everything from episode 7 onward, which I don't know why you would. That's like, oh, you shouldn't expect it because it's a sequel to something. You know, it's got to be able to have, you know, some connection to it. So if you ignored all the Rey stuff because, you know, they were pushing it towards a direction, character choices are dumb. The complete subplot of the whole casino thing, which took up like a third or a fourth of the movie, ridiculously unnecessary, made me dislike Finn even more, which I hated because I loved Finn after the first movie. He was amazing. I don't know. They didn't do anything. Oh, I believe episode 8, wasn't that where Captain Phasma died? I think.
Yes.
And it's like, well, what'd you do with her character?
Yeah.
She was supposed to be amazing. And you know how she died? She just like fell into like a pit or something. I'm just like, that's cool. Forget her development.
Yeah.
You know? Like she was
Left and right.
Well, it's also like she was a really strong, powerful female villain. And I was like, that's cool. You know, we don't see that too often in Star Wars. Gone. Done. And it's like, why? Why do that? I think Rian Johnson just said, I want to do what I want to do with this film. I don't care about where it leaves it for episode 9. And the thing is I understand him wanting to just make a film that he enjoys, but he has to understand that, like, somebody has to be there to pick up the pieces from what he makes. And I just think it's utterly disrespectful to the whole medium of film to completely ignore what was set up in the previous film and to completely not care about what was going to be set in the next one, because he's like, I'm just getting paid for this movie. That's it. And that just bothers me. You know, because I think from a professional, because honestly, I don't even like a lot of Rian Johnson's films. Oh, turned off again. Oh, battery. We've been talking that long? Dang.
I don't think I charged this one from.
I feel like I'm talking about Star Wars a little too much. I don't even, because that's the thing, is that like I shouldn't even care this much, because it's Star Wars and I don't love it as much. Hello. Hello. Welcome to your first night at your new job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Did you ever play Five Nights at Freddy's?
Nope, too scared.
Too scared? Did you ever watch Let's Plays of it?
A little bit, and then
A little bit.
a little.
Too scared?
It would tease like it's gonna happen. Click off. Redirect me to the results page.
Here's
please.
the thing: jump scares are not scary at all, not in the slightest.
Okay.
But they catch you off guard. You know, like the image that they flash in front of you, like it's not scary. It's the fact that it jumps out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like I mean anything jumping out of anywhere scares me. If someone walks behind me and like taps me on the shoulder, I'll go.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm just like, whoa! Did you just stab me in the back? Like anything out of the ordinary from what I'm expecting scares me, and I hate that so much because that's what gets me in like cheap horror movies. You know, where they play like really cheap jump scares, and it's like I hate that, but it gets me every time. That's not effective. I only liked Five Nights at Freddy's, I think, for the lore. The story they set up in each one is amazing. It's also like at the time, whenever I considered myself a Christian, like it was written and made completely by a Christian. Scott Cawthon made a Pilgrim's Progress movie and game, which were panned because it didn't look great. And then he made a kids game where you played as like a beaver or something. And people commented on that game saying, these characters look like they're straight out of horror. Your game stinks. And he's like, straight out of horror, you say? Don't mind if I do. And next thing you know, you got murdered children inside of Freddy Fazbear suits coming to scare you. And, lore-wise, I think he made something that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Game-wise,
Yeah.
it's fun, I guess. It's good to launch a Let's Play channel out of at least if you want to, jump out of your chair every time you get scared. I don't know. What are some of the scariest things you've ever seen, whether they be games, movies, shows, something that just terrified you? It doesn't even have to be something that's actually scary. I think of things whenever I was a kid that were didn't scare, should not have scared me, but they horrified me. Anything like that for you?
Thriller.
Really?
The opening scene when the moon changes and he transforms into that thing.
I was never allowed to see Thriller as a kid, so I guess that's why I didn't have it. There was that's Michael Jackson. That's the bad music. Couldn't listen to anything like that at all. I love the makeup effects for that. Have you ever seen American Werewolf in London?
No.
Same guy who made that. I believe Michael Jackson saw that and said, "Wow, this guy is really good with his effects and everything." And then he said, "Hey, you want to direct a music video I'm working on?" And thus Thriller was born. It's good. Sorry, my arms are a little stiff. I worked out for the first time ever a few days ago.
Yeah, you told me.
And I literally could not lift my arms at all. It was awful. And it's to right now, I can't bend my arm any more than this, or straighten my arm any more than this, because it's painful.
It's painful.
And it's been 4 days. I'm beginning to wonder if I should go to a hospital because they said that this could be a sign of arthritis, and I'm like, I'm too young for that. Please. I remember whenever I was 19, I knew someone who was 20 or 21, and she had arthritis ever since she was 18, and I was like, that's awful. Because arthritis gets bad for the elderly, when they get on in years, but to have it that early on in life and to know that it'll never get better, it's probably just going to get worse. That's scary. That's a scary thought. Man. But I think something that scared me, and honestly, it probably should have scared me, was I was never allowed to watch the Child's Play movies as a kid, obviously. I still think that's consistently the best horror franchise ever, because they only have one movie in there that's actually genuinely bad, and that's just Seed of Chucky, which was not a good one because it's about Chucky's kid and everything. Not a good movie, but every other one in that franchise is at least decent, which is not nearly impossible for any horror franchise, but bit of a tangent. Did you ever watch Family Matters growing up?
No.
Probably my favorite. That and Seinfeld.
Okay.
My two favorite sitcoms ever. I loved Family Matters so much. I loved Steve Urkel. He was my thing. I literally, just as a kid, because I was like, yo, I love Steve Urkel. There was a costume contest one day at school, and I was just like, I designed my own Steve Urkel shirt. I commented exactly, I did exactly what he had on his shirt. Got the exact same kind of glasses, exact same overalls. And I showed up to class one day, little 9 or 10-year-old me dressed up as Steve Urkel. And I was like, hey, I'm Steve Urkel. Did I do that? And it was my childhood. I was I was an Urkel maniac.
Yeah.
Also because, Jaleel White voiced Sonic the Hedgehog, literally probably one of my favorite video game characters ever. So it's connection on connection. And there was one episode, I believe it was just called Steveville, and it was literally where Steve made a puppet of himself, same size as Chucky and everything, and lightning strikes it, brings it to life, and it starts killing all of the Winslow family. And Steve is basically just having to fight against this evil puppet of himself. And it was horrifying. There was one scene in which, because you know who Carl Winslow is, at the very, he's the guy who played the cop from Die Hard. You ever seen Die Hard? No. So he's big rotund guy, but super lovable, super nice. And at one point, Steve comes into the living room and everybody else is dead, and he's like, Carl, everybody's dead, Carl. And Carl's just like, oh, calm down, Steve. He's like, and then at one point, he makes a joke and then does this, and falls over to the side, and the puppet is behind him. He had stuck his arm all the way into Carl and was controlling him because he'd killed him. And it was it was insane. It turned out to all be a dream. obviously, but like as a kid, like you were watching this like family-friendly sitcom. They aired that once on television, never aired it again because it horrified children.
Makes sense.
And it's like, but like that was like one of the creepiest things ever. And then for some reason, even though they aired that and they were never supposed to air it again, they aired a sequel to it, Steve 2, a few years later, which is amazing. I watch those episodes now and I'm just like, because at one point, whenever they showed the puppet walking around, they basically had a short person, just like at some points it was a kid, and at some points it just a short person, just walking around in like Steve-will makeup and everything, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it's a puppet walking around. It's creepy.
Yeah.
And I just remember being so horrified by that, but I love that show so much, man. Honestly, a lot of people talk about like nostalgia with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I always enjoyed it from what I saw of it. But anytime someone would turn on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'd be like, man, Will Smith is great and all, but Jaleel White, Steve Urkel, that's where it's at.
Right.
And I don't know. I wish I had more nostalgia for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I just really, really loved Family Matters. I enjoyed that more than like, I don't know, George Lopez. King of Queens is another one that I really enjoyed, but it was just something about the way that Family Matters dealt with stuff. Like they had episodes that were all about like gun safety, but they never felt like they were overbearing. They had episodes that dealt with racism, but it didn't feel like it didn't feel abnormal. It felt like these were just the normal characters you know and love, but they're having to deal with scenarios that are really sad. And it felt perfect. It was perfect for educating me as a kid because I didn't get a lot of that education with like gun safety, racism. Just like there was just stuff that like was never really talked about because I grew up in neighborhoods where I wasn't around a lot of people who were different races. And just to have a show that was like so perfectly tailored to that, but it never felt like out of place.
Right.
It was just amazing. And that's why I still love that show so much to this day. It's a beautiful show. If you haven't seen Family Matters, please watch it. Please watch it. It's so good. Thank you for coming to my Steve Urkel talk.
My show.
Yeah. I don't know. That was something that scared me a lot as a kid. I feel like that was a long story to get to that, but yeah.
Man.
Something else that scared me? Emperor's New Groove. One scene. I don't know if you can guess it or not. You probably won't. It's the scene where in which like he's in the jungle and a fly gets caught in spider web and spider comes out to kill it. And you just hear this little bug screaming, "Help me! Help me!" And then you hear a crunch. And then Cusco gets smashed in the face with like guts, like bug guts. And it's assumed like off screen, literally the spider just came up and literally crushed the life out of this thing that was screaming, "Help me." And I looked at that and I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I was already not a fan of spiders. I think that's the biggest reason why, to this day, if I see a spider, I will vacate the premises. I have like left a room before that I was living in and slept on the couch for days just waiting for that spider to just move along and pack on and move out because I don't do spiders.
Yeah.
Anything with that many legs is probably demon possessed at some point, And I don't mess with that.
Yeah.
I don't play with that. Papa don't play. No.
Not today.
People always talk about like snakes and how they're scared of snakes. I'm like, I would gladly take a snake over a spider. Gladly would take one. I think they're also a bit better trained than spiders are. Ugh.
What are some brands of pizza that you fancy?
We talking like delivery or we talking frozen?
Delivery.
Delivery? Papa John's is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, honestly, their slogan says it better than anyone else's. Better ingredients. It's better pizza.
Papa John's.
It's so good. I mean, well, we don't talk about Papa anymore, though. After they fired him, and then they really... Did you know they fired him? Dude, horrible racist.
Oh.
Yeah. Dude's a horrendous, like, awful racist person. And, like, when they fired him, he released a video. He was saying, like, one day, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, one day, there will be a reckoning coming for you all. And I'm like, what the heck? Get back out of here, you Sith Lord. Get go away. Get talking about pizza. Well, that's Little Caesars, but And then they had to release a commercial afterwards, and their next commercial was literally just people who owned different Papa John's locations walking up to the camera and being like, I am Papa John's. I am Papa John's. And then it's like, we are all Papa John's. And I'm just like, great job trying to separate it from the really, really racist, like, place.
My goodness.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was, oh my goodness. And he was like banned from ever owning more than I think like 30% of the company because they never wanted him to obviously have control of it again. I just like, because honestly, Domino's was my favorite for a long time, and then I just realized like it's a little too greasy at times. And then Pizza Hut, their pizza's kind of sweet. I don't like a sweet pizza. Sweetza.
I got moldy pizza from Pizza Hut one time.
Yeah, I like their pizzones, like pizza calzones. It's amazing.
I remember I opened up the box and there was this moldy smell seeping out of the box. And Kid Me was like, I don't want to just assume, but maybe it's my nose, maybe
my nose is
something
rotten
around me.
Yeah.
I took it up to my mom and said, Mom, is the pizza bad? And she didn't even take a whiff. She went, oh, what is that? And then we also got the pasta meaty marinara. That also had bad cheese smell. And I think what ended up happening, she called them. They came back. It was free. It was on them.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
You know why that probably was? Because they didn't have better ingredients.
Better pizza.
I'm not owned by Papa John's. I'm just dedicated. Honestly, I think another brand that I discovered the brand when I came out here. I had it back in Florida whenever I used to go to college there, but I only tried it once. And I discovered it out here. I ordered it for delivery one day while I was having a marathon of the Cube movies. First one being amazing, the other two being laughably bad. And I ordered Hungry Howie's for delivery.
Yay!
Hungry Howie's to me is Little Caesars, but a little better.
Yes.
And it's still relatively cheap, and I like their flavored crust. It's good. I had it delivered to the gate near my dorm, and this was during, I think, like spring break. All my roommates were gone, and I just had a pizza and movie marathon. It was amazing. So I think budget pizza, I would have picked Little Caesars, because Little Caesars is fine. The only issue there is that if your pizza's, it's like the McDonald's of pizza. If your pizza's more than 30 minutes old, it's not good. Little Caesars does not taste good heated up to me, and it does not taste good cold. It tastes good if it is fresh, when it's hot and ready, you know. But yeah, I honestly think like Papa John's is probably my favorite. I have another guess that I would say, but I'm curious about yours. What's your favorite?
Barrows.
Oh, Barrows. People always like it's Barrows, Sbarrows. It's you know, what kind of pizza is it? Sbarrows. It's Sbarrows. Yeah, I enjoyed Sbarro.
Oh no, not Sbarro.
Sbarro. Barrows.
Without the
Wait,
S.
There's a place called Barrows. I've never heard of that before.
It's good.
Is it really?
I think you like it.
Maybe. I always prefer smooth sauce. I can't stand a chunky pizza sauce. That's my thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like a nice, like smooth, creamy, nice and it's nice. There's this pizza brand though that I would probably say if I would pick it as my favorite if it weren't for the fact that it's kind of limited. It's only from Texas over, like all the way to Georgia, so it's not anywhere out here. It literally, if you wanted to have one, you'd have to drive about 800 miles probably. And it's called Hunt Brothers.
Hunt Brothers.
It is mostly sold at gas stations.
Okay.
But it is probably hands down the best pizza I've ever had. And I've never had anything better. It tastes so good. And there's a little bit of nostalgia in it, probably, because I would in school, I would always get it after school every now and then. And then, obviously, with lunch being the way it was at my school, we would legit like go out and we would walk to the gas station. We'd walk across the street to the gas station that had that pizza.
That's how you do it.
And we'd buy it, bring it back to school, and eat it there. It was amazing. It was like a rite of passage, for us.
Did your parents treat you when you had good grades on your?
I believe up
report
until
card?
a certain point, it was like I'd get $5 for every A I got.
Nice.
Didn't get many $5 because I didn't get a lot of A's.
Oh, okay.
I did relatively decent in high school. I believe like my GPA at the end of it was like 3.0 or 3.1. It was fine. But yeah, I mean, every now and then they would just give me some. But like whenever I got into high school, like they didn't do it anymore, and also I didn't ask because I was just like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. I get good grades now. My reward for getting good grades is getting into college. That's my reward, not
Yes.
$5. But but I think like a little bit of nostalgia was for that pizza. But honestly, it just genuinely tastes spectacular.
Yeah.
So if you're ever anywhere, was it east of Texas? If you're anywhere east of Texas, please try it. It's good. Hunt Brothers Pizza. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
It is the best. It's the best.
Sun Brothers Pizza. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
That's their motto.
Yeah, they sponsor NASCAR.
Oh.
Yeah, they're on a NASCAR car.
Car.
Speed.
Car.
I am speed. They're just like, oh, Lightning McQueen's a drug addict. Speed. But no, did your parents ever treat you for grades?
Yes. Whenever I would do good in school, I'd hop in the car, and my mom would say, "We got your report card. We're going to McDonald's."
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Would they be like, you can get whatever you want?
Yes.
That's amazing, dude.
Chocolate shake.
Dang. Chocolate shake.
McFlurry, I could get whatever I wanted.
Man, I don't have enough McFlurries anymore. I think the last time I had a McFlurry was like literally almost a decade ago.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just like anytime I love the taste of ice cream, but I never get ice cream anywhere. It's like if I go to a place and I'm going to pay to be there, I pay for the regular food.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the last time I did. I think the last time I did it and I had like ice cream from a place was when I got a McFlurry in Thailand. I believe it was just like a normal chocolate McFlurry, and right next to it they had a durian McFlurry, which is super popular. Do you know what durian is?
Yes.
Stinky fruit, and they just make it in blizzards over there, and it's amazing, and it's tasty, and it's no, so much no. I don't do durian, man. It's like death. It smells like death. It's awful. But I mean, in some like I swear. It's got to be just the fact that, like, in some countries, like, they're so used to it growing up. I've seen people just, like, straight up just, like, start scooping in and just start eating durian. And I'm just like, that's not – and I think the thing is, like, if you grow up around something, you maybe – I guess the correct word, desensitized, or you're so used to it that it's, like, it's normal and I like it.
Correct.
But it's just, like – it's so wild to think about something that's so gross to us here is a delicacy in other places. But you know what? Honestly, it's the same thing because my mom, whenever she's up in like northern Thailand, she can't make anything with tomatoes for the people that are there because they don't like tomatoes. They don't like tomato sauce. They don't like anything like with tomato in it because they can taste it and they're not. I believe it's just because they're not used to it. And it's just like, what, tomatoes? Like tomatoes and everything. Like you can't have a pizza. You can have some pasta. Like to us that's weird, but like to them over there, it's like super normal. It's just like. That's what I love about different cultures. Like something that's so common in one place can be uncommon in the next, and I love discovering that, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's always so eye-opening, but also just like fun because, you get to see a little bit of what you would consider quirky there, and they get to see a little bit of what would be considered quirky to them from someone from America.
Yeah.
It's just great. It's great. Also, if you ever go to Thailand, they have chicken at McDonald's that's just straight up chicken, like bone-in chicken. Have your breast, thigh, wing. It's weird. They have like actual bone-in chicken though at a McDonald's. It's crazy.
Interesting.
It's wild. They also had because like KFC has fries now, like French fries now. Because they used to have like the potato wedges, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like years before I ever had KFC fries here in America, they had KFC fries in Thailand. Super common. And you know what's probably the saddest thing ever? The best KFC I've ever had is from Thailand, not even here in America. And I think it's like whenever a brand expands to the international market, they probably have higher standards because it's like, hey, if you try something internationally and you come to America, what do you think KFC or any other company is going to want you to do? They're going to want you to try their food when you get to America. Meaning, if it's really bad in this foreign country that you tried it in, you're not going to want to try it when you come to America. And part of me is wondering if that's why maybe they have better standards over there for how the food's made. Because it tastes way different.
Okay.
But better. It tastes amazing over there. And it's stupid cheap. KFC is crazy cheap in Thailand. Crazy expensive in Tokyo, though. because it's so culturally significant there. So much so that there was a promo that happened. I don't know if it was in the 80s or 90s, where for Christmas it was celebrate Christmas with a bucket of chicken. Now a normal, a very common Christmas Day meal for people in Japan is a bucket of KFC chicken. That's normal.
Mm.
And so when you go over there, literally to get what is probably $7 worth of food over here at KFC is like $14, 13 or $14 because it's so popular there. And it's wild to see. But I think that's honestly super interesting with culture because like you see like in America, obviously there's the big anime boom. There's a lot with the Korean movies like Parasite winning Best Picture. Just this fascination with other cultures. And whenever you go over there, Japanese people and like just Japan in general has been emulating a lot of American culture for a long time. I specifically remember because obviously disco big in the 80s, right? I would literally see anime coming out because Japan's always up until the the internet, Japan was always kind of behind with the times when they were trying to emulate American culture. I would see anime from the early 2000s. You know what the anime intros would be? Disco anime intros. And it's just wild to see because like they see something really popular in America, they kind of take it and they enjoy it a lot there. And yet on the flop side, like they take something and they enjoy it there, anime, and we enjoy it a lot here in America. It's just like the cultural overlap is amazing in some countries. Because you see like Bong Joon-ho making Parasite, making movies, and when he got up there to make his Oscar acceptance speech, he could have gotten up there and been like, "Hey, I did it better than all of you," because he did. But he got up there and he started thanking Martin Scorsese. He started thanking other directors. He was saying, "Thank you for inspiring me, for being the people that I looked up to and the people that I wanted to emulate." And it's amazing. He got up there and he's thanking all these American film directors whenever it's his time to shine. And it's just, I don't know, it's beautiful to think about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like building on top of each other rather than building separately and still getting high in our own respective cultures, just building off of what someone else taught you. And then by proxy, they get to build off of what you've taught them. It's just, it's how the world progresses. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
I honestly, literally, I almost cried whenever he gave his Oscar acceptance speech because it was so beautiful. And then you have people, this made me so mad because then you had people who were talking about like, oh, he got up there and he accepted the Oscar speech in Korean. Speak English because you're in America. You're accepting an American reward. It's like, it's not an English award ceremony. It's mostly English because most of the people who happen to win are American and speak English. But like, I don't see anywhere in the rules where it's like they have to do that. And I just think it kind of made me mad whenever people who don't even really care about the Oscars got mad that he was Korean and won Best Film. It didn't even say like Best American Film. It's just Best Film. And he happened to just finally like, get up above everyone else. And I think that's beautiful. And to have people get so angry at it is just like, why? I honestly still feel like from that year, 1917 to me was a film I enjoyed more because I think it was more emotionally gripping. I thought the score was amazing and I really loved the whole style of the one shot. But it did not feel at all like pandering when they gave him like Best Film. It didn't feel like, oh, it was the best considering it was foreign. It was amazing.
Folks, this was Dylan.
I am Dylan. Hi.
And we will see you soon.
Goodbye.
See ya.